Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 10th May 2025 guys. And before getting started, please download Rathod Science Academy app. So in that there is 10 rupees course where you will be getting not only the monthly compilations of mains and prelims, but even we uploaded 20 videos in that so and so course so that you can understand what is UPSC, so what is syllabus, what is mains answer writing, and even how you have to make the notes for certain subjects. We uploaded 20 videos just for 10 rupees guys. So try to download that app from the Play Store and try to purchase that 10 rupees course so that you will be getting basics of how you have to start your preparation for UPSC. And if you have already started, so check whether you had made the notes according to that format or not. Okay, so now let us see the first article guys. And if you see the title of this article, it says India repels Pakistan strikes for second day. So yesterday we already discussed about that topic, but the new thing that you have to see is Pakistan is using drones from which country you are getting this? Turkey. Okay. So here what you have to see is friendly nations and allied nations. That is nothing but friendly nations and enemy nations that you have to see. So actually what is happening? So there is a warlike condition or escalations between India and Pakistan, right? So here which countries are supporting this Pakistan? We have Turkey and next one is China. So these two are countries which are supporting this Pakistan against India, right? Okay. So here, if you see these two countries, India and Turkey and India and China, so whether we are friendly nations or enemy nations, so India and China, they are enemy countries, right? And now if one country is supporting anti-country means we can also consider this country as enemy to our India. So here Turkey and China, they are enemy. So you know that directly we are sharing boundary with China. And you know what are the reasons why we are enemy countries? India and China, why they are enemy countries, you know. So first reason here is we are sharing direct border. And in different sectors, we have direct land boundary between India and China, right? So in this region, LAC, that is western sector, in central sector, and they are claiming entire this Arunachal Pradesh region, that is nothing but eastern sector. So in all these areas, yes, we have issues with China. So since 2020 onwards, we didn't completely resolve this issue between India and China across this LAC region, right? That is one important issue. And next one here is China is expanding its territory. Okay, so wherever it is sharing maritime boundary or continental boundary, it is having issues. That is nothing but not only with India, with number of countries it is having issue. So one more important challenge between India and China relations is aggressive expansionist policy. Okay, so because of this aggressive expansionist policy, so we don't like that policy. And even China is developing ports in different countries. What is that project is called? String of Pearls. So because of String of Pearls, and not only that, we have the CPEs, the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, right? We are also against this. And this one is China is supplying arms and ammunitions for this northeastern militant groups to fight against government of India, right? Okay, and not only that, India-China war also had happened, right? So after that, we raised this Indo-Tibetan Border Police Forces. Okay, apart from that, if you see trade between India and China, who is enjoying surplus? China is enjoying surplus. And even because of this trade war of China and US, it is also having impact on India, right? And even there is increasing of incursions of this China in this Indo-Pacific region, right? So we are having lots of issues between India and China. So now you have to know about what are the issues which are there between India and Turkey and why this Turkey is supporting Pakistan. So that is a new area that you have to focus in this class, that you are going to learn in this class. Okay, so this article is important from your International Relations from GS paper 2. So what all are the dimensions that you have to know? So you have to see about LOC, line of control, and you have to see about IOA, that is instrument of accession from your post-independent India, and you have to know about Article 370 and Article 35A of our Indian Constitution. And next you have to know what are the special or specific features of these two articles. And next you have to see about terror attacks between India and Pakistan so far, which had happened from 1947 till 2025. You have to make a list, and you have to know about some important terror organizations are working. Okay. And next you have to see about recent Pahalgam issue. And after this Pahalgam issue, what are the series of events which are happening? Okay. So all these things are very, very important, guys. And you have to see supporting countries and enemy countries. And if they're supporting means in which way they're supporting that so and so country. So for example, Turkey is supporting Pakistan by providing drones. And they are using that drones against India. Okay, now let us see this article. It is very, very important, guys. Okay, if you see the location of Turkey, first of all, where it is. So here this blue color says Mediterranean Sea, and here this orange color country is Turkey. And here you have to see with which countries it is sharing boundary. Here we have Syria, Iraq, Iran, Armenia, Georgia. With these countries it is sharing boundary, and even it is sharing boundary with the Black Sea and as well as Mediterranean Sea. So here from map also you will be getting a question. Which of the following countries sharing boundary with both Black Sea and Mediterranean Sea? This is the Turkey. Turkey is sharing boundary. And is a part of which Asia? West Asia. Okay. Yes, now if you see some important basic facts regarding this Turkey country, it occupies a very unique geographical position because it is sharing boundary with Black Sea, and down it is sharing boundary with Mediterranean Sea, and is having boundary with different Arab countries. And actually it is lying partly in Asia and as well as partly in Europe. Okay. And if you see what are the issues between India and this Turkey, why Turkey is supporting Pakistan? So you have to see this. First one here is Turkey shares a religious affiliation. So Pakistan is which country? Islam country, right? So because of this, Turkey is also sharing some religious affiliation towards Pakistan. So because of this, what is happening? There is dipping or decreasing of ties between India and Turkey, because India is Hindustan. Let's not, majority of people are Hindus in India. And next one here is Turkey is also supporting Pakistan for this Kashmir. And especially Turkey supporting Pakistan's stance for occupying of entire Jammu and Kashmir. So because of this, if any country, if it is supporting our enemy country, can we accept that country? No. Okay. And this one here is in 2019 on August 5th and August 6th, what happened in our country? Removal of this Article 370, right? At that time, Turkey also showed a lot of concern. And even Turkey condemned this removal of this Article 370. And next one here is India also criticized Turkey, especially for its military assaults in Syria. So Turkey attacked the Syria at that time. Yes, India is also condemned that. So because of this, again, further deterioration of relations between India and Turkey happened. And even Turkey is against India's entry into nuclear supplier group, that is NSG. Again, this is also one challenge between India and Turkey relations. So because of all these things, now Turkey is supporting Pakistan against India, and it is providing drones. Okay, that is the thing. And see this image. So this image is very, very famous, especially it is related to one dance. And this dance is called as Margam Kalli. And this dance is very much famous in a particular religion. What is that religion? Christianity. Okay. So here, if you are reading your art and culture, you have an important topic called as dances. In dances, you will be studying about two types. First one is classical dance and second one is folk dances. So we have only 8 classical dances. and folk dances are many. Okay, so you have to make a list of that folk dances, and you have to make notes of the important features of all these 8 classical dances, guys. And this is a very, very important topic for both your prelims and as well as mains. Okay, so if you see some facts regarding this dance, it is a ritualistic dance form which mainly performed by Saint Thomas Christians. So here Saint Thomas Christians, which are belonging to this Kerala region, so they mainly perform this dance, especially on the eve of weddings. Okay, on the eve of weddings they perform this dance, and the name of that dance is Margam Kali. And who will perform this? Saint Thomas Christians. Okay, so actually initially male community used to dance this, but later on female occupied that position. Now females are doing the dance, and especially from 3 years till 82 years, women, they will be participating in this dance. Okay, yeah. And see this article. Title says India abstains from IMF vote to give more funds to Pakistan, flags its poor track record. So what is happening now? India-Pakistan issue is happening. So if some organization is passing any vote regarding that, will that another enemy country will participate in that? Obviously no, right? So here actually IMF wants going for voting whether we can release more amount of funds for Pakistan or not. But India abstained. India abstained means nothing but India decided not to vote in that so-and-so voting process. That is the thing. Okay, so now if you go and if you check what happened in the recent past in Pakistan, so Pakistan was faced by political instability, floods, and even high rate of inflation, and there is no proper food security. And even they are having this balance of payment crisis also. So because of all these issues from the recent past, so they approached IMF. Okay, so actually there are 2 important countries which are present nearby our country. They went for IMF for help in the recent past. So first one is Pakistan and second one is Sri Lanka. So for Sri Lanka, India supported. India asked IMF to give funds, but India didn't favor this Pakistan, okay, in this IMF. Again, the same thing which given here. So India abstains. That means India decided not to vote in this voting process which is conducted by IMF to release funds to Pakistan because of this India-Pakistan issue which is going on. And always one concern of India is if they are getting any funds, they'll go for state-sponsored terrorism. That means government of Pakistan itself will be promoting the terrorism in this region. So because of this, India will be always opposite. Okay, India will be like not accepting this. So here what you have to see? You have to see 2 important things. First one is Pakistan economic condition. First one is Pakistan economic condition you have to see. And next one is you have to see about basic facts regarding this IMF. So where you'll be studying about this IMF in your syllabus? In GS paper 3 under economy in international organizations, you have this IMF. And there's a very high chance of getting basic prelims related facts. Okay, and here in this subject of IR in GS paper 2, you will be studying about India-Pakistan relations, right? Okay, so in that topic, you will be studying about what is economic condition of Pakistan. And even, especially we are sharing direct boundary with Pakistan. So you have to see about in the recent past what happened in Pakistan. In recent past, floods happened and political instability always. And next one is inflation, food insecurity, and BOP crisis. So these are the problems which are facing by Pakistan. And now, what are the steps that we took, especially from India point of view? We stopped this Indus Water Treaty because of this Pahalgam terror issue, right? And we also stopped trade between these 2 countries, yes. And we also closed the gates so that there is no cross-border movement of people. Okay, there is no cross-border movement of people. So these are the things which happened aftermath of this Pahalgam issue, right? So apart from this, what we are doing? We used S-400 defense Triumph missiles to intercept whatever the missiles or the bombs are coming from this Pakistan, right? That means we destroyed their air defense system, and even we bombed on this one cricket stadium in Rawalpindi, right? And even we are focusing on destroying of especially navy related things, right? So because of all these things, now what is happening? There is increasing of economic burden and destroying of infrastructure. That will further leads to the economic instability of this Pakistan or not? Yes, because of all these things, economic stability of Pakistan will be affecting now. And especially this Indus water is very, very important for agriculture in this region. And not only this thing which is happening, even Balochistan wants their independence now. They are fighting for their independence. And even this Baloch people, they are asking India to send missiles, will bomb Pakistan and will become independent like that. So if this going to happen, and if they are not normalizing the ties with India, what happened? There will be further economic instability. There will be increasing of poor. There will be increasing of malnutrition. There will be no food security. Already they are facing issue of energy security, everything, right? So further the position of this Pakistan will be getting deteriorated. Okay. So all those things that you have to see. And apart from that, you have to see some basic facts regarding this IMF. And from here, you may get prelims based question, guys. Okay, now let us see this clearly. So India announced its decision to abstain from a vote at where? At IMF, International Monetary Fund. For what? For additional financial assistance to Pakistan. Okay, so the key points that you have to remember is India wants to abstain from vote. India don't want to vote yes or no for it. India simply wants to sit silent. And this one here is IMF funding to Pakistan. Why IMF is giving? So whenever any country is facing this balance of payment issue or crisis, they'll go to IMF and they'll get funds. Even India also, went to this IMF in year 1990s. And because of that only we got this LPG reforms, that is liberalization, privatization, globalization reforms in India. We got because we approached this IMF to give some help to come out of this balance of payment crisis in 1991. Okay, so actually IMF aimed to vote for disbursing around $1 billion out of a projected $7 billion for Pakistan under extended fund facility. So under extended fund facility, if the country goes under this BOP crisis, they will be getting, and they asked around $7 billion. So here, now the voting is for releasing of $1 billion. So if you see why India abstained from this voting is Indian ministry always is having a concern that so there will be the potential misuse of funds. They will be not using for the right purpose. They will be using for terror funding. That too state-sponsored terror funding. So it is one important issue, guys. And if you see some facts regarding this IMF, it is a United Nations specialized agency. When it was found at Bretton Woods Conference near 1994. And actually it was established aftermath of Great Depression in year 1930s. And the important aim of this IMF, it is to support global monetary cooperation and to improve financial stability of the countries and to facilitate trade and to promote high employment and sustainable economic growth and even to reduce poverty. So these are the aims and objectives of this IMF. Okay, now let us see the next article. Yes, title says Home Minister meets chiefs of BSF and CISF to assess preparedness. So because of this ongoing tensions between India and Pakistan, now our Home Minister is going and meeting this chiefs of this so-and-so Central Armed Police Forces to know about how far they prepared. So what are the action plans, everything they are going to discuss. So here you have to know about BSF and CISF. So in your internal security from your GS paper 3, so these are the topics that you have to see for sure, guys. Okay. So now let us see what is their news. So if you see the context, it says that Union Home Minister convened a significant meeting with leaders of Border Security Force and CISF, that is nothing but Central Industrial Security Force, because of increasing of tensions between India and Pakistan, to know about the preparedness. So if you see some facts regarding this BSF raised in the year 1965 after India-Pakistan war. And it is one of the 7 central armed police forces of Union government, which comes under Ministry of Home Affairs, not under Ministry of Defense. It is very, very important point. And other central armed police forces are Assam Rifles, you know all those things, Indo-Tibetan Border Forces, that is ITBP, and we have CISF, we have CRPF, and we have National Security Guard, that is NSG, and we have SSB, that is Sashastra Seema Bal. So what you have to do is you have to draw the map and you have to see the borders where we are sharing with other countries and which police force is guarding in that border. You have to know that. For example, India-Pakistan, India-Bangladesh border is bordered by BSF, and India-China border is guarded by ITBP. And we have Sashastra Seema Bal, which will be guarding India, Nepal and India, Bhutan. Like that, which forces are guarding which areas you have to know. And especially Assam Rifles will be there in news often. So you have to make a notes of this Assam Rifles for sure, guys. And if you see some facts regarding the CISF, it is a central armed police force in India and it was set up under an act in year 1969, very, very important. And especially it will be focusing on providing of security for industries, and as well as even because of this recent parliamentary security breach, so now parliament is also taking care, or security of this parliament is also taking care by the CISF now. So you have to see that. And especially in the airports, if you go to any airport, so you can see these people, CISF. Okay, see this article, very, very important. Single-use food beverage packaging forms 84% of Himalayan plastic waste. So Himalayas are very, very famous for glaciers and even tourism, right? So if you are going to that places for the tourism, we will be carrying chips, we will be carrying single packaged foods, we will be taking some beverages and as well as water bottles, everything, right? And we will be drinking it off and we will be throwing it off. It is the nature of human. It is the nature of human, right? So because of this, what is happening? It is creating plastic waste in this Himalayas. And how much it is contributing? It is contributing up to 84%. Okay, so what you have to see? You have to collect the data. Okay, you have to collect data which is given here. And you have to see about threats. So threats faced by Himalayas. And next, in that threats, you have to add this data. Like plastic pollution is also one important threat which is faced by Himalayas now. And because of this plastic waste, what is the impact? And next one is, what are the alternatives of this plastic waste that we can use in this eco-sensitive areas? All these things that you have to remember. And Himalayas is an important topic in your geography, especially in your Indian geography. You have to see thoroughly about this Himalayas, how this Himalayas formed and which kind of rock system which is there in this Himalayas. And you have to see Himalayas in the longitudinal section and latitudinal section. Like we have Trans Himalayas, Greater Himalayas, Lesser Himalayas, Shivaliks. And we have Punjab Himalayas, Common Himalayas, like that you have to see longitudinal section also. And even you have to see the specialities of Himalayas and especially important glaciers, important passes. You have to do all this work, guys. So this topic is important from your geography and as well as from your environment and ecology. So please read your 11th class NCRT, okay, regarding this Himalayas. Don't forget, guys. Okay, now let us see this article clearly. A recent study, and this study had been performed by Zero Waste Himalaya Alliance. Please make a note. Zero Waste Himalaya Alliance. And this study which mainly revealed that single-use food and beverage packaging, which is accounting for 84% of plastic wastage in this Himalayan region. 84% of waste, where it is from food and beverage packaging. So the details which are given here is 84% of plastic waste is happening in this Himalayan region because of this packaging of food and beverages, and only 70% of this waste is collected and recycled, but remaining 30 is not recycled. It is leading to the environmental pollution as well as lots of negative impact. And next important point they gave here is, significant initiative they are taking to combat this plastic pollution. It had been started in 2018, even though it is inefficient. And this one here is they collected data from 250 locations in this Himalayan region, and finally they gave a report that in this 9 Himalayan states, Sikkim is having the most pollution. Okay, and this article is saying that we need systemic policy level interventions so that we can address this problem of plastic pollution effectively. And now let us see the article, very, very important. And summer started, right? So you will be getting articles regarding heat waves. So this article is talking about it's time to protect India's workers from heat. So just here what you have to see here is some data which is given here. So actually why this article is in news, because of the summer there is increasing of temperature. So especially in first week of April in Delhi, the temperature is about 41 degrees centigrade. So because of this, it's in news. And next one here is RBI, which gave a report. So in this RBI report in 2024 said that because of extreme heat, it mainly threatens health and as well as livelihood of people who are exposed to heat. So because of this, it will lead to the 4.5% loss to our Indian GDP. Make a note. Because of this heat waves, 4.5% of GDP is getting affected. Okay, so keep that aside and now focus on this area till here. From here to here, you have to make a note, guys. So here this article is giving some way forward, like what can we do so that we can decrease the exposure of these people to the heat and how can we improve the economic sustainability. So first important problem here is where we are seeing more heat, in rural areas or urban areas. In urban areas, we have more amount of heat because of urban heat island. And in which places we have more work, in rural areas or in this urban areas? In urban areas, we have more work. And if you see the types of works, we have two kinds of work: organized work and unorganized work. So organized work, they'll sit in the offices under ACs and they'll be coming and they'll be going. So they'll be not much exposed to heat. But the people who are informal or unorganized workers, they'll be working outside of their comfort zone and they will be exposed to the heat, right? So because of this article is giving certain guidelines we have to follow. So first one here is, we have to include informal workers in our heat guidelines. First important one. So these informal workers, who are there? Construction workers, street vendors, waste pickers, gig workers or rickshaw pullers. So they have to be taken into consideration. And we have to include safe working hours. And we have to give some mandatory rest breaks. And we have to provide proper access to the water and emergency response mechanism. First important point. And second one here is, we have to include worker participation in state level or like city level heat action plans. Okay, we have to take inputs from worker organizations, unions, collections, worker welfare boards, etc. And we have to make a proper action plan. And next one here is, so these informal workers, they also have the right to shade, right to rest, and right to cooling, etc. So for that, we have to establish some rest shaded zones, especially hydrated points. That is nothing but the places which will provide some cool water, cool drinking water. And we have to go for arrangement of these things, especially in markets, transport hubs, public spaces, labor chowks, construction sites, etc. And next one here is, we have to go for innovative financing. So as you all know, we have this corporate social responsibility where companies will be investing their 2% of their profits, right? So they will be focusing on health and education like that. So but even these CSR funds can be given for this area, like developing of adaptive solutions, especially to cover heat related illness, etc. And next one here is we have to focus on heat resilience and as well as safety, worker safety designs in our cities also. Okay, and especially we have to promote some natural shades through urban forestry corridors and water bodies, public resting spaces, etc. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly given. So please make a note of that. And now let us see the next article. Its title says Sprouting Sustainable Nutrition Sensitive Food Systems. So recently we discussed one article. Because of climate change, it is affecting our gut microbiota and that is causing new types of illness. Yes, can you recall this article? Okay, so this article is saying about food system, okay, especially food systems are changing. So because of this, it is affecting our nutrition. Very, very important topic. And you have to make a note of data here. So in this article, they gave data regarding Global Hunger Index. Global Hunger Index 2024 data says India's ranking is 105 out of 127. Okay, so this article is saying that because of climate change, there is decreasing of food availability. So whenever there is decreasing of agriculture productivity and food availability, do we get enough amount of food? No, there will be decreasing of supply. So whenever there is decreasing of supply, the price of that so and so good is increased. So because of this, accessibility and affordability of that so and so good is decreased. So because of this, that is creating malnutrition in our country. That is the thing which mainly said here. Okay, now let us see some important points that you have to make a note. So here this article is saying that global food system is currently grappling with various challenges, limitations and impacts because of decreasing of availability of food that leads to food insecurity. Affordability and accessibility is also getting affected. And the data which is given here is according to National Family Health Survey, which has been conducted between 2019 and 2021. It says that nearly 194 million individuals in India, they are facing this undernutrition. And around 35.5% of children in India, they are stunted. And 32.1% of children in our country, they are underweight. And 19.3% of children, they are facing this problem called as wasting. So this problem is very, very huge. Okay, so what is the reason? The reason here is climate change. And next one is because of climate change, that is also altering the accessibility to foods. And if they are not having the proper food, it is nothing but balanced diet, what they'll get? They'll get malnutrition. Nutrition issues will be happening. So there are many reports saying that there is increasing of wasting, increasing of low weight, increasing of height, decreasing of height, etc. And next one here is even in this global hunger index ranking. So India's ranking is 105 out of 127. That means there is huge amount of hunger which is present in our country. And even child malnutrition is very, very high. And only over half of the Indian population, they are getting access to the proper food. 50% of people are not getting the proper food because of affordability and as well as accessibility. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said. And this article is saying that we have to increase awareness among the communities regarding what is the importance of this nutritious balanced diet. Okay, so that is the thing which mainly said here. And by this I'm concluding, guys. And thank you so much for watching. And if you really like this class, please hit the like button. Please do share this class to your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to Rathore Science Academy.